Episode 182 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to be recapping UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Brady. Going solo this week. Harrison has some previous engagements, but the show must go on. We talk about every single fight on every single card. That's why you should hit subscribe. If you're watching live on YouTube, thanks for tagging along with me. And we're going solo this week, but there's a lot to talk to. Some important stuff went down. Maybe a couple of potential future title challengers here. Some exciting finishes, some great, back and forth action. So I'm actually looking forward to talking about this one. Crack a Topo Chico. It's a Sunday night. What can you do? Cheers, cheers, cheers. But man, we'll dive straight into it here. Good weekend at the books. Good weekend at the books. If you saw any of our YouTube shorts, I told you to bet Steve Garcia by KO. Man, that's free money right there, folks. That is a lock as a lock gets in UFC betting. So that was cool that one hit. I also hit, let's see here. Well, I'll talk about it throughout the show. But yeah, man. Obviously, we're going to start with the main event. That's what y'all are probably here for. Gilbert Burns, legend in a game, maybe a little bit strong, but was top 10 for 8 years or something like that. One of those sustained high level guys. Nobody really has anything negative to say about Gilbert Burns. I don't think I've ever met somebody who Gilbert Burns is their favorite fighter, but I also don't think I've ever met anybody who hates Gilbert Burns. Love the Hamzat fight. That's an all-time banger. Hell, his fight with Usman slept on. Whenever he dropped or wobbled Usman, I forgot what it was officially scored as, but he cracked Usman. The Gilbert Durinho Burns ride has been fun. Taking on the young lion, Sean Brady, who's only lost Bilal Muhammad. Well, that's aging well, I'd say. Bilal since then has gone on to win the belt, and that's the only guy that he's ever lost to. So, Brady was minus 190, ranked 8. Burns ranked 6 at plus 160. 38 years old Burns. That's why I'm kind of recapping the career a little bit, getting towards the end. And Sean Brady right in that prime, man, right? Which is why I bet Brady. I had Brady on a parlay, and I had a Brady by decision ticket because as much as I liked Brady, you ain't subbing Burns, even though Brady's a jiu-jitsu wizard, so is Burns. So, that's kind of a wash. And that's exactly how this fight played out. Basically, all the grappling, all the clinching, all the wrestling was basically nullified by each other. So then that left the striking, which a lot of people probably would have said would favor Gilbert Burns. And before the fight, I probably would have agreed with you. However, I think Sean Brady showed that he's, up that part of his game and has improved that quite a bit. So I'm trying to find a way if I watch along. Yeah, I think I can see y'all's chat. If anybody's watching along right now, drop a little chat and I'll let you know. So I believe I worked out a way I can respond to that. So, I didn't see Burns subbing Brady. I didn't see Brady subbing Burns, rather, and I didn't see, and Brady notoriously doesn't really have knockout power, so I was kind of arrived at the conclusion that I did think Brady would win, and I did think it was going to be by decision, which ends up happening, so that I cashed a leg of my 3-leg parlay, cashed the Brady by decision ticket at plus 150 on the prop. So that was a good weekend at the books, good weekend in the books, ended in the green. Gave those out on this channel. So you, once again, hit subscribe and get these winners. We give them out to you for free, no paywall. And we'll go round by round here because I have a hot take with my scorecard. I guess a medium hot take, not the craziest thing. And because, round 1 and 2, obviously to Burns, he outstruck him by a really wide margin. I think in round 1, he had 5 times the significant strike numbers. But like I said, all the clinching, all the wrestling was just just neutralized. I would say nobody really had success. The numbers, when you look at it in hindsight, kind of favor Brady. like the clinch control time and shit. But a lot of that was like Burns stuffing takedowns. And I've talked about it many times on the show, like scoring that's always weird. Like failed takedowns that result in clinch control time. I've always had a hard time like scoring that as like a positive thing when you're getting your takedown stuff, because you're not doing what you're attempting to do. And while I don't think you should be scored for defense either, like in a football game, if nobody scores in a quarter, nobody scores in a quarter. So like I don't think any guy should be really getting points in that scenario, but the stats make it look like Brady was having all this clinch control time, and vast majority of that clinch control time was Burns stuff and takedowns, and a lot of the actual like clinch, like overhooks, underhooks, like actual clinch work was super even 50-50. Like they were just rolling around. Each guy would just dig an underhook, reverse the position. So like the actual clinch was a super wash. I think the stats are kind of misleading on the clinch game. But yeah, rounds 1 and 2 to Brady. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. I don't think that's controversial. Now rounds 3 and 4, 3 especially, I found to be like basically a coin flip. And my coin landed on the Gilbert Burns side in 3 and 4. I know that is going to be an unpopular take. I'm going to attempt to defend that take right here. I know Verdict disagrees with me, I'm pretty sure. No judge agreed with me. I didn't see any like Twitter scorecards agreeing with me, so I may be on third base holding the catcher's mitt here. But let me tell you why I scored rounds 3 and 4 for Gilbert Burns. Round 3, I mean, we're told that damage is supposed to be the number one criteria to be scored. Like, we're told that. I'm still not sure that's true. Like, maybe that's just a thing that people say because I don't know if they think it sounds cool or they sound like a smart guy, but allegedly that's what we're supposed to be scoring is damage. I thought Burns won the damage battle in 3. He landed the bigger, cleaner shots. That round, he really let loose with the clinch knees and elbows, which I thought he should have done more of throughout the entirety of the fight. There was a bunch of clinch scenarios, and I get that priority number 1 when you're fighting Sean Brady is do not end up on your back. So maybe he didn't want to get too offensive and let his defense slack a little bit. I would understand that. But had a lot of success with the clinch knees and elbows in round 3 that he didn't really have in any other round. And then, you know, Sean Brady got the takedown at the end of the round, didn't really do anything with it, and there was a lot of activity in the form of takedown attempts, but I don't want to repeat myself. I just talked about how I don't think, like, failed takedown attempts necessarily should, like, score you points, and I definitely don't think it should win you a round. So, like, I don't think it's a hot take to say Burns won 3. He won the damage battle. He basically neutralized the takedowns. He got taken out at the very end and it was a change of position. Nothing really happened with it. I don't see why more people didn't give Burns 3, honestly, if we're scoring damage. Now, round 4, I think, is like my hot take round. I think this is where most people will probably disagree with me. Because... let's see here. You know, once again, I thought Burns won the damage battle. And round 4, he landed some bombs. And we know what a Gilbert Burns bomb can do. A Gilbert Burns bomb can drop Usman. A Gilbert Burns bomb can drop Hamza Shemayim. So it's like, do I maybe score that with a little context, knowing the power and accuracy that like a hook from Gilbert Burns on your chin can do? Like maybe, but I don't think I overvalued it because there was nothing of equal or greater value that Brady landed. Brady had the activity and he was throwing stuff out there, but nothing was really landing clean. Nothing was hurting Burns. Once again, Burns did get taken down, but then reversed it. I believe Brady only had 1 takedown in that round and got reversed, if I'm not mistaken. And then Gilbert Burns got a takedown of his own. So I keep saying that maybe round 4 is a hot take and nobody agrees with me, but I mean, leave a comment. I don't know really like what's to like about Sean Brady's rounds 3 and 4. I thought they were close rounds, competitive rounds. A lot of time in those rounds were spent in 50-50 positions, but last time I checked, 50-50 positions isn't Sean Brady winning the round. And like I said, I thought in both of those rounds, Burns landed the cleaner shots. And like I said, in round 4, Burns got a reversal and a takedown. So even if you're scoring Brady's grappling, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm that far out on a limb, but I don't know how many people are agreeing with me. Just want to make sure my volume's up. I hope everybody can hear me. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty earlier, so I hope everybody can hear me. That would suck if you can't. But no, after giving Burns credit for 3 and 4, I mean, Sean Brady's round 5, and I don't know if he's ever been in a round 5. Kind of reminded me of Kyle Braulio, where your first main event is, or your first time in a 5th round, and you look, I mean, like you're born for 5th rounds. I mean, round 5, Sean Brady really separated himself. So I mean, in round 5, I mean, the volume, which had been great, the volume and activity for Brady the entirety of the fight was outstanding. But in round 5, he took it to another level, which that's not how human bodies are supposed to work. Like, you're supposed to slow down after you've been fighting at an insane pace for 20 minutes, and Brady stepped it up. It was really impressive. And it wasn't just volume for volume's sake. Brady started to land clean and land flush and cause damage. And I was really, really impressed with Brady's striking in round 5. I thought he should have taken more of that approach. I mean, I know Brady's like a grappler by trade, and that's always going to be a part of his game, but I didn't think this fight was close on the feet at all. I know I said Burns landed more damage in 3 and 4, but really, it's because Sean Brady was choosing, like, Sean Brady really wasn't striking in rounds 3 and 4. He was mainly grappling or attempting to. And so I think, yeah, I mean, round 5, Brady really stepped up the volume, the damage, the accuracy. He still got 2 takedowns because I'm sure it was the effective striking was opening up those opportunities. So, yeah, just really, really impressed how Brady was able to pull away in round 5. So I end up with a 48-47 scorecard. And this is the guy that had a Sean Brady by decision ticket. So if you want to talk about bias, I have like anti-bias. 2 judges go 50-45. I don't love that. I don't love it. Like I said, I gave Burns 2 rounds. Now, do I have the word close in both of the rounds I gave Burns? Yes, I do. But to me, that means at least one of those should go to Burns. I don't know. And then one judge gives Burns, I'm almost positive it was 3 that he gave him. So gave Burns 1 round. But, I mean, this was a close fight. This is a bunch of good scrambles, a bunch of 50-50 positions. Said Burns was landing some clean shots in 3 and 4. I just don't think 50-45 like paints an accurate story of the fight. I think my scorecard paints a better picture of how the fight went down. But I mean, of course I do. It's my scorecard, so let me shine my own wheels a little bit. But I want to talk a little bit of like fallout here and like where each of these guys go from here. The Burns side is real easy. I believe he did retire. That's word on the street that Burns retired, and you kind of could see it coming. He's 38 years old. This is his 3rd L in a row. I mean, all the world-class guys. No shame in it. And, I mean, he's got the podcast with Moicano going, so you always are happy for a fighter that seems to have something else going for him and something else to kind of fall back on. So, yeah, I mean, cheers to Gilbert Burns. It was a great career. Really reached some high highs. I mean, fought an all-time welterweight great for the belt and hurt him and got a knockdown in that fight. I mean, when everybody was shaking in their boots to fight Khamzat Chimaev, you raised your hand and you put on one of my all-time favorite fights. I have a list of like 5 fights that I'll go back and just watch for fun. Like Chandler Gagey, Poirier Hooker. Burns Chimaev is on that list. So thank you for that amazing fight, Gilbert Burns. And yeah, happy trails, my brother. It was a great career. It really was. It was nothing to be ashamed about. Father Time's undefeated. And then Sean Brady, man. Sean Brady has big things in his future. Like I said, guys, 1 loss ever. One man on planet Earth has says that they can say the sentence that I beat Sean Brady in a fight. And that guy's the champion of the world. So that rematch, if Sean Brady can string 1, 2 at the most more wins together, I mean, that Bilal Brady 2, the fight that nobody really cared about at the time, talking about the first one, could shape up to be one hell of a rematch. Stylistically, they're very similar. Like Sean Brady kind of reminds me like of Bilal. And I'm not a Bilal hater. Some people would say that kind of tongue in cheek, like internet meme, Bilal Muhammad's, haha, like that's a backhanded compliment. But I mean, I'm talking about champion of the world, Bilal Muhammad. I see a lot of similarities. The pace, the wrestling, the better than you would think it would be striking. Yeah, man, I see a little Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady, ironically enough. I have him power ranked at 8. My power rankings go Shavkat, Bilal, Ian Gary 3. I know that might piss some people off, but man, I don't know if any of these guys are beating him. Leon Edwards 4, Kamaru Usman 5, Michael Venom Page at 6. I know that's probably a spicy take, but man, matchup wise, and just he presents some problems for some of these guys. And then Jack Della Maddalena, I still have ahead of Sean Brady. A little bit of MMA math there, like he was able to finish Burns. Brady wasn't. Hey, them's the facts. And then, like, also, like I said, yeah, I mean, Sean Brady, he was getting his chin touched by Burns in 3 and 4. If that's Michael Venom Page touching your chin, I don't know. But also, Michael Venom Page got out grappled by Ian Gary. So, I mean, that's classic striker versus grappler. I don't have to state the obvious. Obviously, Brady could out grapple Venom Page. But also, like, if you get knocked out by Bilal Muhammad, you're getting your chin touched by 38-year-old Gilbert Burns. I don't know if you want that Michael Venom Page smoke. And same could be said why I have him behind Jack Della Maddalena. Like, if Gilbert Burns was having some success on the feet and finding the chin, and I mean, the guy that beat him probably, and Jack Della Maddalena is such a good striker. I think could be maybe a problem matchup for Sean Brady, though. And then same thing like Kamaru Usman. Like, now, if Brady was able to beat Usman, it would basically be because of age. I don't think Brady's ever beating prime Usman, but I don't know how many people besides Chael Sonnen believe that Usman's still in his prime. And yeah, I mean, so what's next for Sean Brady? He called out Ian Gary, and I love that he had that name like ready on the tip of his tongue. That works. That works because Shavkat's getting the next title fight most likely. Leon, I imagine, wants some time off, and if not, I doubt he would want to fight a Sean Brady. Usman, he's in that semi-retired, I only want big fights phase. I think Venom Page and Wonder Boy are booked. I'm pretty sure they are. If not, Sean Brady, Michael Venom Page works all day as almost like a semifinals, quarterfinals type match. Like the winner of that one would have a pretty strong claim for the title. But I think the winner of Sean Brady and Ian Gary after Shavkat, I think that would make all the sense in the world. Because if Shavkat beats Bilal, Bilal's not getting an immediate rematch, most likely, because he just didn't have a long title run. And if Bilal beats Shavkat, I believe he would seeing how Bilal operates, I believe he would rather give the title shot to a guy like Sean Brady, a guy also who he's already beat by knockout, than like saying Ian Gary, who, Ian Gary is a hard guy to like, a personality only a mother could love. So I doubt Bilal would necessarily be trying to do him any favors. While Sean Brady, I see a lot of Bilal in Sean Brady. Like if Bilal was a white guy that grew up in Philly, he would be Sean Brady. So regardless, like I said, I mean, you beat Gilbert Burns. There's not many people that have beat Gilbert Burns and not gone on to be a number one contender. So the only problem is the other young lion, like the new class. The new class is Shavkat, Jack Della Maddalena, Sean Brady. They're like a draft class, and Ian Gary. That's like a draft class in football or a draft class in basketball. That's like that group. And it just sucks because, I mean, it doesn't suck for me, but it sucks if you're Brady because basically, out of Jack Della, Ian Gary, and Shavkat, he's unfortunately in 4th place. I think, in my opinion, and I think in the actual rankings, and I think in public perception. So, but he's part of that wave. He just got to stay at it. Like I said, if he's able to get the Ian Gary fight, that would be interesting because at 6'3", I mean, he does not want to stand with Ian Gary. I'll tell you that much. But like, if Ian Gary thinks because he out-grappled Michael Venom Page that he wants that grappling smoke with a guy like Sean Brady, then he would be sorely mistaken. So, I mean, I'll keep it pushing. I just put in 20 minutes on that main event. But, hey, it's the main event. You got to give it the time that is due. In the co-main, we had a potential other future number one contender in Natalia Silva. Came in a ranked 8, minus 280, taking on Jessica Andrade, ranked 6. And, man, I had a couple tickets on Andrade. I had an Andrade money line at plus 250. My own handicapping, I had this one a lot closer than plus 250, minus 280. I thought that number was too wide. Natalia Silva, and we've seen a lot of like women prospects get fraud checked lately. Shout out Luana Santos, but she's not the only one. Ange Blanchfield, like we've been seeing these kind of hot shot flyweight prospects get fraud checked, or even if not, or if you want to call it a stub your toe and not a fraud check, cool, that works for me. But we haven't seen a lot of the changing of the guard in this women's flyweight division. And at plus 250, I was willing to take a shot on Andrade. Check the chat real quick. And then, let me see here. And then I also had a ticket on Andrade by KO at plus 625. I know Natalia Silva likes to strike. Andrade has a lot of power, really, in any women's weight class. But, I mean, when you look at, like, if you want to talk about, like a power rankings of power only in women's flyweight, I mean, Andrade is going to be right up there towards the top. So you give me one of the hardest hitters in the division versus a girl that is going to strike with her. And like I said, I already had the money line ticket, and it was super boosted at my sports book to plus 625 on the Andrade by knockout. So it was a total sprinkle, but I thought it was worth the sprinkle. No regrets, no regrets. And in round one, man, I was feeling good about it. I was feeling real good. Andrade was cutting off the cage and landing flush and hard on the chin of Natalia Silva. Natalia Silva has a chin. She looks like such a sweet girl, but that sweet girl has an iron chin. And also has, so in round one, I mean, this is another one where I disagree with the judges, man. I don't know. I don't think there was any robberies last night, but there were some rounds that I will kind of die on the hill for. I told you I gave 3 and 4 to Burns, and I gave round 1 to Andrade. Andrade was landing nukes, like not just one either. Like probably once a minute, she would land something huge right on the chin of Natalia Silva. Now, if you want to say Natalia ate that shit, then hey, I mean, if that's your argument, then, you know, but also Andrade was on the pressure the whole round. Natalia Silva was backed up against the cage. I don't think Natalia Silva had a lot of success. Now, there was some volume and there were some numbers there, but you want to talk about damage? You want to talk about the fight looking the way that one fighter wanted it to look and not the way that the other fighter wanted it to look? Like, I thought Andrade was doing exactly what she wanted to do in round 1. I don't love giving round 1 to Natalia Silva. Now, all 3 judges do, so once again, shout out Chelsea in third base holding a catcher's mitt. But I don't get it. I don't get it. If you want to leave a comment and enlighten me, be my guest. But now, round 2 and 3, Natalia Silva was able to figure out that range a lot more. Whenever Andrade would back her up against the cage, she would clinch her and then have some pretty good success in the clinch, both just control-wise and getting back out to the open or even landing some clinch strikes. Rounds 2 and 3, she started making some adjustments and didn't make the same mistakes that she made in round 1, which you love to see. That's it. What separates like a low-level fighter from a mid-level fighter to a good fighter to a champion is like the ability to make in-between round adjustments. So she showed that ability. She also showed a chin. So these are boxes because Natalia Silva was kind of can-crushing up until this point. This is by far the biggest and best win of her career. And so with that being said, you know, those were some questions I had, and those were some questions that she answered. The chin is there, rock solid chin. The ability to make adjustments between rounds, rock solid. I mean, in round 2, she like tripled the significant strikes and was like able to keep her back to the center a lot more. Andrade did land one big punch at the end of round 2, but I said, I'm not going to give you the round over one big punch. In round one, there was multiple huge punches that Andrade landed. So I said, I'll kind of die on that hill. Now, in round three, I mean, Silva had landed, I believe, 4 head kicks, maybe 5. She was landing like different varieties of head kicks. Now, we'll talk about chin again. Andrade ate them all. So, and then Andrade did land one nuclear Andrade hook at the end of the round. Said not enough to win her the fight, not enough to win her the round. I think the right fighter won. Said not a robbery at all, but I gave Andrade one, and I'll stand on business about that. I'll stand on business about giving Andrade one. But yeah, Natalia Silva answered a lot of questions, checked a lot of boxes, looked like a future number 1 contender. Because like when Erin Blanchfield got her shot at an elite girl, she lost. You know, Macy Barber stubbed her toe. So all these other prospects, Karine Silva still hasn't had that next level test yet. You know, so outside of the big 3, which are women's flyweight, I consider the big 3 Fiorot, Shevchenko, Grasso. And then you got Rose Namajunas in almost like a 1A tier. And then, but I got Natalia Silva at 7, really 6, because I still have Tyler Santos in my rankings just in case she ever comes back. She's young. I could see her making her way back in one day. But, so, I mean, if we're talking only UFC roster, I got Natalia Silva at 6, right behind Blanchfield. And I'm not convinced she couldn't beat Blanchfield. Like, I may have to rearrange that. I think Silva has 90% takedown defense, and Blanchfield does not want the smoke in the stand-up. She does not want that problem. So you know what? I talked myself into it. Natalia Silva skipping Blanchfield, passed the test better than Blanchfield passed hers, has the requisite skill and style to beat a Blanchfield. I'm kind of all in on this Natalia Silva hype train. Like, once Grasso and Shevchenko figure this out, Fiorot will probably be next after that. But outside of Fiorot, man, give me Natalia Silva. She has takedown defense. She has elite kicks. Cardio, not an issue. Elite chin. I mean, a lot to like there. A lot to like there. And then Andrade is going to keep doing Andrade things, man. She wins 1, she wins 2, she loses 2. That's been the case for a couple of years now. She's still a main event fighter. Not a main event fighter. I mean, potentially in the Apex, but like main card fighter. She was the co-main in this Apex card. So you see where I'm going with this. Andrade is going to fight big, meaningful fights and do her thing. That's Andrade. That's why I bet on her. I'm not saying she's a perfect fighter, but she's going to get big fights. She's going to perform decently in those fights. She's going to be in those fights. And so, you know, 2 sprinkles that didn't cash on this one, but happy that we got like a potential. I mean, not even a potential. We got a contender here. Natalia Silva is a contender in the women's flyweight division. Yeah, a great performance. Now, on to Steve Garcia. Man, I told you, don't be an asshole. Bet Steve Garcia by KO and win you some money. Listen to your boy. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. For those that, you know, saw that short in the reel this week, I appreciate y'all checking it out. That was one of my favorite clips we made. But, yeah, I mean, Steve Garcia, this is 5 KOs in a row. I believe all in the first round. And, I mean, what's not to love about this guy? I mean, you could argue the level of competition, and I'll hear that argument. But, I mean, you can only fight. Like, he's not the matchmaker. He's the fighter. Yeah, that's 5 knockouts in a row, 3 of which were first-round knockouts. The one last night was a first-round knockout. And Kyle Nelson was on a 3-fight win streak of his own, so this was not a can-crushing. I mean, yeah, this was not a can-crushing. I mean, this was probably his hardest fight to date. Passed the test with flying colors. So another first-round KO. I just bet it straight 2 units at minus 135. So didn't win a ton of money, but hey, you're not going to go broke taking a profit. But yeah, the minus 135 straight bet. I mean, man, I was all over it. I hope you were too. I I also had Steve Garcia as the second leg of my parlay at minus 185. So cash the parlay leg. I can't believe he was minus 185. Like, if I was handicapping this fight, he would have been like minus 350. Like, Kyle, and that's no slide on Kyle Nelson. I guess I'm just a big Steve Garcia guy. But also, like, how could you not be when he knocks everyone the fuck out? Like, are we just overthinking this here? Yeah, and also Kyle Nelson missed weight at 148 and a half. Steve Garcia didn't give a fuck. He got a bonus. He got some of Kyle Nelson's purse. So cashed 3 checks, first round knockout. I mean, there's no way in fuck they don't give him a ranked guy next, right? I mean, they have to. There's no way you want to give him a ranked guy next. Pulling up the featherweight rankings now. You got Barbosa at 15. You could run that all day, every day. Dan Ige at 14. A lot of people would be mad about that because they think that Dan Ige deserves something bigger, and maybe he does. But, I mean, I'm here for that one. No, I'm talking about violence. And then Bryce Mitchell, I mean, that would be cruel and unusual. Coming off the Josh Emmett insane death knockout to give him Steve Garcia. But, I'm kind of here for it. Call me an asshole. I'm kind of here for it. I like Steve Garcia more than I like Bryce Mitchell. What can I say? And then Diego Lopez at 12. Leron Murphy at 11. I think that starts to get a little ambitious. I wouldn't even hate Giga, though. They still got Giga ranked there. There's no way in fuck I would have Giga ranked ahead of Diego Lopez or Leron Murphy. And I don't in my personal power rankings. Or Calvin Kattar. You can give him Calvin Kattar. If you really want to get this show on the road, you really want to get this, shovel some coal in the hype train, kind of get this fucking show on the road, you give him Calvin Kattar's washed ass. Sorry about it. If you're some asshole watching this right now and you're a real Calvin Kattar mark, I'm sorry to tell you, he does not want that Steve Garcia smoke. I'll stand on that. But I said realistically, Bryce Mitchell, Edson Barbosa works all day, every day. All day, every day. But yeah, I mean, what's there not to like? He just ground and pound elbows, and it's crazy because he slipped at the start of the round, and Kyle Nelson was on his back, and it like could not have been going worse for Steve Garcia. So for those that think Steve Garcia kind of gets lucky in these knockouts, he had the opposite of luck. Everything went wrong. Everything went wrong, and he gets the reversal, gets on top, and just Bisping was talking about it on the broadcast. Like, the second he got on top, it was just elbows, 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 just like spamming him almost. And it's like, Bisping was like basically saying, like, why doesn't every guy do that? Like, and it sounds simple, but like, seriously, we just, after watching the Petrosky fight and some of these snoozier fights on the prelims, like, where these guys would have full mount even. They'd have full mount and still not posture up. Like, Steve Garcia just, the second he got the reversal, just spammed elbows, gets the knockout. Kyle Nelson was posting like a picture with a knot on the back of his head saying that it should be a DQ or a no contest. But it was one of those things where Kyle Nelson was like rolling and scrambling. Needless to say, I didn't have any problem with the knockout. Because I'm not going to sit here and say an elbow didn't hit the back of the head, but it wasn't a stationary target. Like when he threw the elbow and then Nelson turned his head, basically. Like, so I mean, no fighter is going to be held responsible for that. It's not like he had been warned. I don't have any problems with it. Kyle Nelson and his wife are kind of crying on social media, but hey, dude, you fumbled that. Kyle Nelson had him right where he wanted him, got reversed, and got finished. That's how that story's getting told. Steve Garcia, we're going to talk about my personal power rankings. Man, I jumped him up quite a bit. I'm at 17, right behind Ige. That's why, like, I would make that fight. I don't think a lot of people want to see that fight be made, but I would make it. Steve Garcia, I have him sandwiched right between Ige and Barbosa. So those work all day, every day for me. Also, him and Brito would be a sick fight if he doesn't get a rank. The only not ranked guy I would want to see him fight would be Joe Anderson Brito. That would be an absolute heater. That would be fire. But We'll keep it pushing to the flyweights, masquerading as bantamweights. It was a last-minute fight. Durden took it on 4 days' notice. So that's why it was at bantamweight. We got Cody Durden, minus 290, taking on Matt Schnell, plus 235. I didn't bet this one because it was real weird leading up to it. Like, there was points of the week where it looked like this fight was canceled, and then it was rebooked at bantamweight. So I stayed away from it. But round one was a banger. I mean, they were getting after it. They were letting it all hang out. I mean, it was really more of a brawl. It wasn't too much technical. They were both landing. Yeah, the numbers just eye test wise appeared to be very close. And I scored this round like a pure, like, caveman. Like, at the end of this round, Schnell's face was more beat up looking than Durden's face. But they both landed shots. They both won exchanges. I said it was a nasty brawl. Schnell, you could even argue, maybe looked a little crisper, but just Schnell's face was all bloody and Durden's was like a little red, but Schnell looked more beat up. So I gave round one to Durden. It was a banger though. And then round two, Durden jumps on that ninja choke, that front choke, gets the sub at 29 seconds into round two. So took that fight on 4 days' notice. I mean, Durden is one of those guys that I never thought I would like be a fan of. And like, he's making a fan out of me. He's making a fan out of me. I don't know what you want to say. Matt Schnell was still ranked 11 though, even after all the L's, still ranked 11. So Durden beat the number 11 ranked guy on 4 days' notice via ninja choke. And then was in a super entertaining brawl the round before that. I mean, and then like, yeah, he's coming off the Bruno Silva knockout loss, but like, Bruno Silva's no slouch, ranked 13, and like Durden won most of that fight and then basically got caught slipping with his foot off the gas. So, I mean, I'm not making excuses. It was a beautiful uppercut by Bruno Silva, but I mean, Durden won a lot of time, like won a lot of that fight. And then to beat the number 11 guy on 4 days' notice by sub, I mean, yeah, Durden's one of these guys I never thought I would like be like a fan of Durden, but I mean, he's growing on me. He's growing on me. The thing is, he's fought so many of these guys already. He's fought Bruno Silva. He's fought Ulanbekov. He's fought Schnell. I feel like he's fought somebody else too. So it'll be really interesting to see how they match make him. Let's see what I personally do. It just sucks because now he's ranked. So they're going to give him somebody ranked, but he's fought a lot of the lower end ranked guys, and I don't know that they're going to want to. Maybe they give him like Urseg in the bounce back fight because Urseg coming off 2 L's in a row. Give him Urseg, perhaps? I don't know how they're going to match make this guy. It's really interesting. I mean, there's a million different directions they could go. There's a bunch of young killers they could give him to. Like, if Josh Van gets the win on Noche, perhaps. There's a couple undefeated studs, like Rafael Esteban's 12-0. I mean, there's so many young studs. Like Filio's a stud. Yeah, I mean, guys, Andre Lima, who fights on this card, is a stud. Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they matchmake him going forward. And then Matt Schnell gets the unceremonial Apex retirement. I saw some people like saying that they should have made a bigger deal about it. He didn't even get an interview. It was kind of, unceremonious, but also I think Schnell was like 6-7 in the UFC. He did have some good moments, some big moments. Yeah, he got into the rankings, but just like everybody that retires can't get a video package, right? Or maybe they could. I don't know, man. And maybe he didn't let them know ahead of time. Maybe they would have baked it in, but yeah, Schnell retired. I mean, he's taking some bad KOs, taking a lot of damage. Even went to war in this fight with Cody Durden. So is it that I don't think that Schnell could beat. There's some lower end guys that Schnell could beat. Like I think Schnell could still beat maybe a Vergara or Sumu Darji or guys of that ilk. Edgar Shirez, guys like that. But I don't think there's anybody in the top 10, really top 15 that he's beaten that would be at this point of his career. He's not even that old, just taking a lot of damage. And yeah, I mean, hopefully he got out in time, man, because that guy's been knocked out brutally. Yeah, wish you the best, Matt Schnell. Like, I know that it sounds like I'm not trying to like, talk shit. It's just like I don't know what people necessarily wanted from like a Matt Schnell retirement. Yeah, I don't know. He put his gloves down. He got out of there. I mean, an interview would have been nice. I'll say that they could have given him an interview, but he also I think didn't want to wait and got emotional. So I don't know if it's fully on the UFC, and I'm not even trying to be a mark here. We'll keep it pushing to the main card openers. Lightweights, Trevor Peek and Yanal Ashmouz. Man, Trevor Peek fights are just awesome. I mean, it looks like you're watching a guy fight in the back of a Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, and I know maybe like purists may not like that, and I wouldn't like it if that's all we saw. Like, if that's all UFC was, I wouldn't want every fight to look like that. But getting one sprinkled in there sometimes is kind of fun. It's kind of fun watching a Trevor Peek kind of slop fest. And then I gotta admit, I thought Yanal Ashmouz was like a total can, and he's not. There's some depth to his game. There's some timing. There's some strategy. I don't think Yanal Ashmouz is a can. I'm not saying he's a world beater, but like coming into this one, I basically viewed him as a can, and I don't think I do anymore. I'm not. Listen, I don't think he's a world beater, but I mean, it was a great performance. Round one was close. I mean, it was a banger. I thought I gave it to Trevor Peek. I thought he won the damage battle. He had the significant strike numbers on his side. He got taken down once, but got up from it. And then, like, Ashmouz did get a takedown, but very little success on the feet and no damage really done on the ground. One judge, I think, gave round one to Peek, and two gave it to Ashmouz. Like I said, no robberies last night, but there's some rounds that I would like to kind of have a bone to pick with that I don't love. I didn't have any money on this one. I viewed it as a coin flip. Vegas viewed it as a coin flip. And, you know, if I'm going to bet coin flips that I don't feel strongly about, I might as well go throw that unit in a slot machine or on a roulette table or something. You know what I mean? I don't like to just throw crap at the wall and see if it sticks. So, yeah, I didn't really have like a strong lean on this one either way. I score at 29-28 Ashmouz. Oh, actually, two judges agree with me. So only one judge gave it 30-27. Not egregious, but I would like Ashmouz got the takedown, lost the striking. The guy got up from his takedown without being damaged or any submissions attempts taking place. Like, just so there's one takedown just wins you around. It was a close round, but yeah, just giving Ashmouz one. Don't love it. But Ashmouz, the right man wins. Ashmouz beats Trevor Peek. And like, Ashmouz, man, he has the loss to Chris Duncan, and I don't really think too highly of Chris Duncan. I don't know. I'm not going to match make him because it's kind of an who cares situation. And then Trevor Peek, it's going to suck. Trevor Peek, I think he's like 2-3 in the UFC now. He's going to be one of these guys that probably gets cut. I'm not saying he gets cut after this one, but I don't think the skills are there to like make a run. But God damn it, salute to the Trevor Peek era. It's going to be a fun one to look back at. The weird standing hammer fist and standing back fist and like windmill like follow-up shots. It's just bizarre and it's fun. He has this weird strength too, where he's a lightweight, but excuse me. He basically does the Derek Lewis just stand up approach to jiu-jitsu. It's awesome. I don't know. I would, dude, if I ever I run into Trevor Peek at a bar, I'm going to be very, very friendly and nice and courteous and have my manners on full display. But also, man, that's just like me and Harrison sometimes talk about the do I want to have a beer with this guy test as far as like being a fan of a guy or wanting to support a guy. And God damn it, I don't know if there's ever been a guy I want to have a beer with more than Trevor Peek. Have some country music playing, and it's got to be a cheap, shitty beer. It's got to be a Coors Light, a Pabst, Miller, High Life. Like, you're not drinking IPAs with Trevor Peek, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, have fucking good time, some old school country playing and drinking a shitty beer with Trevor Peek. That sounds like my kind of night, man. That guy's awesome. But yeah, Yanal Ashmouz gets the win. Prove that I have him in my koozie tier now. Like, I don't know what his ceiling is, but his floor is higher than I thought it was. I thought his floor was like heavy can, and he's not. He showed the ability to get some takedowns, to have some timing, to duck under, to fight smart. Cardio didn't seem to be an issue, so better than I thought he was. That's going to wrap up this main card recap. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to be back in a second to break down the prelims because we're the only show out there going over every single fight on every single card. Hope y'all cash some tickets this week. I'm still doing the giveaway. Nobody's claimed it. Jack Della Maddalena rookie card mailed to you for free. All you have to do is subscribe. Follow us on X at Beefy Breakdown. Send me screenshots at that X account of what I just said. You being subscribed on YouTube and following us on X. And I will mail you a Jack Della Maddalena rookie card for free. Thanks for watching, everybody.